welcome back. After taking a nice summer away from doing some videos, I wanted to pop back on here and talk to you about a topic that comes up a lot with my clients and my audience, which is this fear around sales and selling. Particularly when we run our own business, whether we run a service-based business or we run a product-based business. If we are the entrepreneur, the mind, the person, the driving force behind this business, we feel a heavy personal attachment to it. Because of this, what ends up happening for a lot of us is we struggle when it comes to selling ourselves, our service, our product, because we have all of these weird mixed emotions in there. And particularly in today's day and age, the things that we're really afraid of with selling is being manipulative. We don't want to be manipulative. We think that sales is yucky, it's gross, it doesn't feel good. We feel like we're not really sure how to actually articulate the value or worth of what it is that we're doing. We don't know how to handle people's concerns. The list goes on and on. Sales is a really big struggle for a lot of people. That's why I wanted to hop on today and actually go over 3 ways to shift how you feel about selling and how you actually sell. And the idea behind these 3 shifts is they're both practical in terms of mindset and in how you approach your sales process, but they're also practical in terms of like what your sales process actually is. And they will allow you to show up, offer your product or service with more integrity, feel really good about it, and most importantly, have it be something that's easy and painless for you and is really easy for your audience to say yes to. The first shift is really about realizing that it's not actually about making X amount of money, whatever the amount of money it is that you want to make in your business. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to make money. But the idea with sales and selling is if you shift your focus away from making a certain amount of money, and instead you shift your focus towards making a certain amount of impact, what will happen is it will be easier for you to show up and offer your product or service to your market because you're starting and offering whatever it is that you do from a place of wanting to positively impact people's lives. That makes it so much easier for you to show up in your marketing, in your sales process. It makes it easier for you to talk about what it is that you do if we take money out of the equation. Now, though, the really important thing is as long as you focus on impact over money, but then you connect a way for the impact that you have on people to make you money, which is, again, obviously the product or service that you're delivering to people, what ends up happening is you focus on the impact, you feel really amazing about what you're doing, your audience feels really amazing about what you're doing, and you end up making a lot of money in the process. Sometimes just shifting our focus away from making money and shifting our focus to having impact can be the biggest difference in how we feel about sales and offering our process or offering our product or service. So that's the first thing. But again, remember, it's focusing on impact, not making sure that you very easily have set it up so that the more impact you have, the more money you make. And that would just be by ensuring that you've priced your product or service properly and all that kind of stuff. The next way to shift is really make sure that you're connecting with people on a why basis and making sure that whatever your sales process is, and when I say sales process, this can be in person. It can be maybe you sell through video, maybe you sell on the phone. It could be just the copy on your website. It could be the whatever posts you put on Instagram or Facebook. Your sales process really depends on where your audience is and whatever the product or service is that you're offering. So when I say sales process, I'm talking about any possible place that your audience is where you can sell to them. And one of the things you really want to make sure that you do when focusing on your sales process is focus on the why, not the what or the how. And this is where a lot of us go wrong, and this is why it can feel kind of weird and clunky when we're selling something, is often we're selling the details or the specs of something, the what, versus actually selling the innate value of your product or service. What I mean by that would be, as a coach, when I'm selling and offering my services to people, people don't buy what I'm doing. People aren't actually buying my coaching. They don't care about what my process is or how many calls they get or how many times we meet. They don't really care about those things. Those things are important and they might want to know that information, but knowing how many times we're going to have calls and what my coaching experience or background is or what my coaching process is isn't going to be the thing that has them say yes. What's going to get someone to want to work with me as a coach is their desired result. They have a problem and they want that problem solved. And the problem doesn't have to be bad. It can be a good problem, but they have a problem and they want it solved, and they are hiring me, they are buying from me because they want the result that working with me will get them. That is the why someone would work with me. And it's the same thing. And even if you have a product-based business, it's really about focusing on like, what are the feelings that someone feels, or why does someone want your product or service in the first place? What is their desired result, the outcome that they want or need from working with you or buying from you? And what you really want to make sure is that, again, regardless of how you sell, whether it be online or in person or whatever the process is for you, that you're always focusing on the why, the true value behind what your product or service is, versus talking about the what or the details. The next thing, and this one's really important, because for a lot of us, the reason why we are so afraid of selling and we're not really good at it, it often comes down to money mindset issues and money blocks and this whole sense of self-worth and all of this stuff. And if you follow me regularly, you know I talk about all of that. What you want to recognize is that value is a perception, not a calculation. And this is really, really important. If you feel that maybe the price of your product or service is too much, and that's why people aren't working with you, what you want to recognize is that the value of your product or service is a perception. It is not a factual calculation. Case in point, if you want to look at a minivan versus, say, a Jaguar or Porsche, or like a really fancy sports car. Now, value-wise, calculation-wise, more often than not, the Jaguar is going to be more expensive, but there are some pretty souped up vans out there, minivans out there. So at the end of the day, the actual cost of the car might be the same. But where it's not a calculation, it's a perception, is that depending on who is buying this car, the value changes, because the value changes based on the person's needs. So the person who's buying a Jaguar is going to want the Jaguar, most likely because maybe they don't have kids, or they're having a midlife crisis, or their kids are older, but they don't need to worry about the convenience factor. They don't need to worry about taking a lot of people places. They want the Jaguar for what it means and what it symbolizes. The person that's buying the minivan, though, the Jaguar means nothing to them because it can't fit all the things that they need to fit. People buy minivans for a reason, because of the stage of life that you're in and because of what you actually need the van for. And this is really, again, really important, because it doesn't matter how much money the van is. If a person needs it and it meets all of their needs and it'll give them the desired result that they want, they'll pay whatever money that they need to pay to get the van. And where this concept of, again, value is a perception, not a calculation, is sometimes we get so hung up on the price tag of something that we convince ourselves, particularly with our own product or service, that no one will buy it. No one would pay that much money for our product or service. And what we're doing is we're getting stuck, and we think that value is a calculation, and we're focusing again on the what of, the details behind something. But at the end of the day, what people want to buy and what people are buying is the result or the outcome that they get from working with you or using your product. And so what you always want to recognize with the value being, value is a perception, not a calculation, is that it really is important to just know who your audience is, know who your ideal client is, and make sure that however you're pricing your product or service and then offering your product or service makes sense for the audience that you're targeting. Because again, going back to the minivan versus the Jaguar, those are very, very different audiences with very different needs and very different wants and desires and outcomes out of buying their prospective vehicle. Therefore, how you offer or market to those two audiences are going to be vastly different. And that's why it's important for you to understand who is your audience and what do they actually need. Well, not what do you think they need, but what do they actually need and what do they want? And if you are presenting yourself and marketing yourself and selling yourself from that perspective, it'll be really easy for people to say yes to you because they're going to connect and resonate with what it is that you do. They will trust you and you will be the person that they want to buy from. So again, the 3 shifts for today around how to change how you feel about selling and how to actually approach sales is first recognizing that it isn't actually about money, it's about impact. And if you're able to approach your sales process through wanting to have a positive impact on your clients' or customers' lives while ensuring that there's a way for you to get paid, what you'll do is it'll be so much easier for you to sell. It'll be so much easier for people to say yes to you, but you'll also still be making a lot of money. However, the vehicle in which you're using to get there is really focusing on the impact that you're looking to have on the world and on your audience. The second is you want to always connect with the true value or the why behind why someone's going to buy from you, and make sure that you're bringing that out in your sales process. And then the last one is to remember that value is a perception. It's not a calculation. There's no law around how much something is worth. Things only have monetary value because we ascribe monetary value to them. And so if you, a lot of the times, remove your own limiting beliefs and blocks around money and value and worth, it'll be so much easier for you to offer and sell your product or service. So as always, I hope that you guys got a lot of value out of today's video. If you have any questions on this topic, or it really resonated with you in some way, never hesitate to reach out. You can drop me a comment in the comment section below. You can send me a message, whatever it is that you want. But just know that I believe in you. I know that you can do this. You are more than capable of building the business of your dreams. You are more than capable of living the life that you want. Believe in yourself. Do the work, get some help, learn how to sell really well, and it'll be a lot easier for you. And until next week, I hope you have a kick-ass time, and we'll talk with you soon. Bye.